So in short, the situation we're in now is that Canada and the United States have reestablished free trade for the vast majority of our goods. Canada will retain our tariffs on steel, aluminum, and autos as we work intensively with the United States to resolve the issues there. Indeed, our focus is squarely on these strategic sectors and the future. The Canadian government will begin our preparations for the CUSMA review process that is due next year by launching new consultations starting next month to assess Canadian priorities in the new global trade environment. And in addition, following my conversation with the President of the United States yesterday, Canada and the United States will intensify our discussions to address current trade challenges in those strategic sectors and to seize major immediate opportunities for us both in trade, investment, and security.
Well, mark the day down, August the 23rd, 2025, when Chris Baker on Bakes on Things finally gives Mark Carney credit for telling the truth. That's right. Today's the day. I'm doing it. I'm giving him credit for telling the truth that he can't do the job, that he has failed. That's what he did in that press conference. It was a little cryptic, but it was there. This could have all been done months ago, my friends. All of it. Every last piece of this should have happened months ago and billions of dollars ago. This should have happened on March the 6th, 2025, and not August 22nd, yesterday. Back then, former PM Justin Trudeau slapped 25% retaliatory tariffs on $30 billion worth of U.S. goods in response to Donald Trump's initial tariffs. Because we thought, as an economy, we could handle that. We thought we could withstand the pressure of what that was going to do to us. It was all posture, though. It was defiance. It was machismo. It was elbows up. It was Canada stands firm. But here we are, over 5 months later, and only now is Prime Minister Mark Carney dropping counter tariffs on goods already covered by the CUSMA trade deal. This is where we sit. Elbows limp. Extremely limp. Let's go.
Welcome to Bakes on Things.
Welcome back to Bakes on Things. I'm Chris Baker. Thanks for joining us. Happy Saturday. And, well, is it really a happy Saturday for Canada? Months wasted. Billions lost. Canada's businesses bore the entire cost of all of this, by the way. Consumers paid more. Supply chains were disrupted. And what was achieved? A public show of strength that accomplished really nothing, except the exact opposite of what it was designed to accomplish: economic pain and rising headaches for Canadians. Elbows up methodology? More like elbows limp. This is what I call the elbows up methodology as I see it, the strategy that the Liberals were trying to use here. The aggressor's stance, the fear campaign, of course, which we all saw during the election, and then threatening this, imposing that, posturing all the way through that. What did it actually get us? Well, let's take this scenario. Ottawa imposes tariffs. Florida orange juice, Kentucky bourbon, except if you're at Doug Ford's cottage, autos, steel, aluminum, and voters, businesses, investors all pay the dramatic price for all of that. That is elbows up methodology. That is pretending you have economic strength enough to be elbows up at all and to try to take a tough stance. But in the end, here we sit today with absolutely nothing to show for it. There was no retaliatory, hey, we're taking the tariffs off too. No progress in trade talks whatsoever yesterday, despite months of rocking back and forth. So what really happened in that phone call? Because now, without fanfare, Carney just jumps onto the podium and announces the reversal of counter tariffs on CUSMA-covered goods, something that should have been done when the U.S. did it. In fact, the U.S. only has tariffs on things that are not covered under CUSMA, and we left ours in place. Why did we do that? What was elbows up about that? Why did we get into this situation? What's the translation here? Because the elbows up approach was not just ineffective, it was massively harmful. But it wasn't harmful for the person it was aimed at, it was harmful for Canadians. The fear campaign absolutely backfired, and now Canada's reputation is tarnished not just in North America and with the US, but around the world. Remember, while Canada played hardball like this, the US response ratcheted up. At one point, American tariffs on Canadian goods jumped to 35%. Yes, 35%. That jumped from the 25% it was set at before, citing issues beyond trade, things like border security, fentanyl, alleged trade barriers that are being created by our own government. And here we sat, a government limp and on vacation. 12 weeks it walked away to do nothing but sit with Doug Ford around the fire in the Muskokas and talk. I just did an episode about this, about all the talk. It's meetings about meetings about meetings, and here we sit, failure after failure, and nothing, absolutely nothing has been accomplished. In fact, the biggest accomplishment Mark Carney has made now is to hold this press conference admitting defeat. Canada's retaliatory blink and it's gone tactics did nothing, and I mean nothing, to prevent that escalation. And now, looking weak, reversing course might seem like capitulation. That doesn't play well on the world stage when you're trying to deal in trade with other people. If you look like you're trading badly with your credit card, you're not paying your bills, you're not doing the things that are in the terms of agreement with your Capital One card, what makes you think TD is going to want to deal with you? What about Europe, Asia, Latin America, all with Canada? They're all watching. They see dithering, they see posturing, they see lack of strategic clarity, lack of planning. Canada's image as a dependable trading partner, as a pragmatic, effective actor, has taken a massive hit. Facts don't lie, folks. Months wasted, costs exploded. Let's talk hard numbers here. Canada slapped up to $30 billion in retaliatory measures, but only on part of the Trump tariffs. The rest, Canada's $125 billion in goods, still pending. And that's $30 billion plus in economic disruption. And now, yesterday, here we have it, August 22nd, 2025, Carney announces dropping counter tariffs on goods already covered by CUSMA. Now, I happen to agree with this decision because it's going to hopefully kickstart some kind of negotiation. What I disagree with is ever doing it this way in the first place. And for the love of God, letting it happen this long when you saw that the U.S. was going to refuse to negotiate, move on to negotiate with everyone else, and wait you out. They were always going to wait you out, Mark. So we spend 5 months punishing ourselves only, calling it elbows up, and now we cave. Without any sign of a deal. Nothing was given to us yesterday. Canada saved how much, by the way? Oh, zero. Zero. We just gave ourselves a self-inflicted wound. Then we took credit somehow for healing it. I don't understand this. Even the U.S. said it's long overdue. They basically said, finally, it's about time. Now, maybe we'll talk to you. Here's the kicker. The White House actually called the move long overdue itself. Can you believe that? They're right. But imagine you institute these measures in March, and the U.S. says now that it should have been done months ago. That's embarrassing for Canada because we should have known that. That was our key to negotiations. That was how we were going to get into negotiating with the U.S., by dropping those. This should have been a strategic pivot, not a reactive retreat. Canada had at least 2 massive opportunities this spring. Early de-escalation, reverse the counter tariffs early on in April, right after he got elected, and pivot from retaliation to negotiation. But you can't do that when you run an entire campaign on elbows up and I'm going to fight the guy. You can't just get elected and then flip around, so he had to wait. And it's been all talk ever since. Use the breathing room to diversify markets too. Asia, EU, I thought we started talks with them. Why didn't that continue? Why didn't we rebuild trust and grow global trading networks? Instead, that just was a visit, a promise, and a stop. We let things fester. We always do as a country. We treated tariff policy like a soap opera, reactive, emotional, headline-driven, and not like the strategic tool that it is. All the while with no federal budget and an entire parliament that went on a 12-week vacation. So here we are, a ransom paid and economic pain, political capital gone, and trust eroded not just in the U.S., but around the world. So there are lessons we must learn here as a country. And if I had another 20 minutes to rant, and I don't think you want that, I mean, I barely covered 10 here and I'm wildly angry at this point. Don't demonize before trying diplomacy. That's my first one. 4 months of tariff escalation, then reversal, but no forward movement whatsoever. That's not bold, that's entirely misguided. And we did it wrong and need to learn from it. We also need to embrace practical realism, not posturing. Posturing is a failure. This reversal should have been a strategic, not reactive move. And we also need to rebuild Canada's global standing now. Fix the aftermath of all of this. Engage our trade partners again. They're not going to be bigger trade partners than the US. We need to finally admit that. But go globally, reaffirm the commitments we made earlier, be predictable, be pragmatic, be trustworthy. I know I've been fired up in this episode, not just for theatrics. It's not just about trade. This is really about piss poor leadership in this country. It's about whether Canada acts like a confident, respected partner or a reactive junior partner swayed by headlines. Right now, Mark Carney allows the mainstream media to tell his story, and he's swayed by his own headlines. We've wasted months, lost billions, and for what? A show. Carney corrects that yesterday, but that long overdue is an admission that stings. It stings more than words on a news broadcast, folks. It's another country telling us it's long overdue. That is not leadership. That's a lesson, a hard one. We just got spanked. And an opportunity, though, for Canada to do better next time. Hopefully under a prime minister who actually knows what they're doing and takes action. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment on this. What do you think about all of this? This is an admission. This is a capitulation. This is a bend over and take it. This is a we got nothing out of this, and elbows up didn't work. It's elbows limp, and we admit it now. What is this punishable? What do we do here? And do you even trust Mark Carney anymore if you ever did in the first place? Liberals, I'd love to hear from you because I know you get mad in the comments and you just say bad words and you stomp and scream and hiss at the screen. But maybe you can actually make a real thoughtful comment and say how you feel about your prime minister being elbows limp now. Because you've been lied to. This entire time, you've been lied to. How do you feel about that? Anyway, we'll catch you again tomorrow with a very special episode on wokeism. I wanted to bring this to a head and bring this up after the announcement yesterday about, actually I believe it was 2 days ago, about Cracker Barrel changing their logo. The wokeism and woke movement is a little bit crazy right now. We're going to talk all about it on a special Sunday episode of Bakes on Things. Don't forget to catch that tomorrow morning. Have yourselves a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow.